What's up, everybody? Got a four-wheeler now, collecting rocks. I'm collecting them from over there, I'll show you that. But I cleared this spot. So I'm gonna put down rocks, build a pallet shed around it, and then put some metal roofing on it. So right now I'm gonna show you where I'm getting all the stone. There's a bunch of free stone. There's a lot of stuff that the last owner left here, and all this good stone. I don't even know why he put it where he did, but I'm just gonna transport it over here. So yeah, there's all this nice stone. Not really sure why it's here. This is a pretty dry area. There's also all this rubble. And that's gonna be good fill for all the areas that truck tires have made too big of ditches. Like in the back, I'm gonna fill all that. But right now I'm just collecting this. Unfortunately, this is all I have to use. All right, so it's a new day. It's a lot colder. Got my gloves and winter jacket on. I did 4 trips of stone with the other cart, and it actually broke. It was rated for like 750 pounds. I had only like 300 pounds of stone on each trip, but the hitch right here, it bent, and it actually like came off while I was driving it. So like that piece broke. So I returned it to Tractor Supply, got this better one. This one's really cool. It's got a foot kick, and then you can dump in multiple directions. So here's all the stone I laid, about 4 trips. I might have to do one more just to like fill in the edges once I start building. And I just started leaning these pallets up just to get an idea of how many pallets I need. I think I'm gonna do 3 that way, 3 that way, 3 that way, and then probably just like 1 here, and then build a door. So what I'm gonna do is the sides here that have less slats, because one side has, you know, a lot, one side has not that many. I'm gonna chainsaw the sides and just take off the slats on this one side and then fill these gaps in. So I'm gonna screw them here. I have a tool to like pry these off, but a lot of them, they don't pry off well. So I'm just gonna chainsaw down the sides and then use the tool as best I can to pry the middle. So this is the tool I got for busting up pallets. You can push this pin and you can adjust this, but I like it like this. It doesn't really work that great, so that's why I'm probably just gonna chainsaw the sides. It's actually popping off without breaking, and that's probably because this is a thicker pallet, but some of the thinner ones, they just break, and then I gotta chainsaw them. Well, I started getting too warm, cutting up all the pallets with the chainsaw, switched to some different gloves and a different jacket, but started putting stone in here, testing out the new dump cart, and I need to, you know, put some more here because I want to put the pallets actually on top of the stone so that they don't touch the ground and rot. So let's test this out. Just go like that. And then I'm gonna get this out of the way so I can back the four-wheeler up and get out of here. So that took about 30 minutes to chainsaw the sides and take off the slats on 18 of these. So they're just stacked there, a couple over there. Here's all the pieces. So a lot of these are cracked and just not that great, but thankfully I've been taking apart pallets for the past couple weeks now, so I have a ton of slats. So let's say it takes 22 pallets to build this shed. You're gonna need a couple extra for more slats. All right, so now I'm gonna be screwing together the first first couple pallets for the walls. So I got 2 pallets here, slats removed on one side. So these ones are nice. I don't even need an extra piece. This is from other pallets I took apart, but some of these pallets, the slats stick out, and then I'll need that to connect. But these ones, I can just put them together like this, put some screws through them. Got an impact driver, make it easier. Line them up. And then I'm just gonna go all the way down and put screws in these and get the whole frame, the whole boxed in frame. So that's nice and secure. And now I'm gonna go ahead and do 9 more. So 3 sides, there's 9 pallets. And then I'm gonna have to start stacking them. And when that's all done, I'll go ahead and do the front, which will consist of a couple more pallets and a door. So the outside walls are all screwed together now. I need to put some more stone down and just level out the edges. I might cut down some small trees and like put them in the corners so that then I can screw the second pallets. You know, they're gonna be about 7 or 8 feet tall. And then I'll start filling in all the gaps with the slats that I have back here. I found these beams. So I found those on the property. I'm probably gonna reinforce the corners. Might have to do some beams down the middle to connect the roof. So I cut all those pieces in half and used them to brace, and then I screwed the pieces in together. Just a little, it's a little wobbly, but no big deal. I'm gonna reinforce everything. All right, I'm doing all the slats today. A lot of them are crooked. Got to trim off each side, taking care of some of the broken ones. I got all these for firewood, but I have a lot right here and a lot at the barn that I already cut. Had to buy a miter saw and a generator. I'm gonna get a lot of use out of this, you know, doing this project. I'm also gonna insulate the treehouse next and then do these same slats for the interior. But yeah, I gotta get to work, start cutting all these ends off, and then my buddy let me borrow a really nice nail gun, so I'll be able to just shoot these up super quick. Getting ready to use the nail gun. It's a little finicky. It sometimes doesn't shoot the nails, but hopefully it'll get the job done. But when I was moving these over, I was counting them. There's about 60 slats. There's 19 pallets here. Let's just call it 20. So the back side of these pallets have around 4 or 5 slats. So that would be 80 to 100 slats I should have, but I only have 60 because there was that much waste. So I'm gonna need to use more pallets than this. And I'll tell you at the end what the final amount was, but let's get to it. So that's the first piece on, and it's not going in too deep. There is a way to adjust that, but I'm just gonna leave it as is. And I'm probably gonna need more of these like thicker ones. So I have a bunch more at the barn. You know, these ones are all kind of thin. Gonna be hard to cover all those gaps, but let's see what happens. So I used about 45 slats, and this is as much as I could do freehand, meaning that I was just throwing them up, nailing them in, a couple gaps. So now I'm gonna have to measure these gaps. 1, 2, 3. There's like 7 or 8 little gaps. I just gotta measure those and cut those pieces. And then if I want to get real serious about it, I'll take some liquid nail and fill in any, like, you know, right here I left a tiny crack. It's no big deal. I don't really care if there's cracks, but I might take some liquid nail when it gets a little warmer, fill those in, and then paint everything. Well, now there's snow on the ground. It's the middle of March. The first half of this video was filmed in December and January. I took a long break from finishing this pallet wood cabin or shed. It's going to be a shed for now, but I do plan on painting it and filling in all the cracks and making it a spring and summer cabin. I took a long break on this project to put all my effort into redoing the interior of the treehouse. I did that all with pallet wood and installed a wood burning stove. And that was so that I would be able to stay on the land and keep warm during these cold winter nights. If you'd like to see what I did to the inside of the treehouse with pallet wood, the video link is in the description below. This pallet wood frame actually stood up to some very harsh weather conditions. There was a very bad windstorm and many terrible snowstorms. The last 2 weeks of February were extremely cold, lots of snow, so I took a break from making videos and doing projects. So here I'm cutting the posts that are going to strengthen the frame and hold the roof up. I decided to go with a slanting roof from the front to the back. I originally was going to do a roof more like a house, like a V shape, but I decided to put 4 posts that are 2 feet taller than the pallet wood frame in the front, and then I'm going to build the roof on that slanting back. And for any of you that are concerned with me cutting down these small trees to build things, the trees on this land are being overtaken by vines, and I was told that it's poison oak, but I'm not really sure, but you can clearly tell that the trees are being damaged and killed by these huge vines that are growing all over them. There's also way too many small trees packed together tightly on this land. They're fighting for nutrients in the ground and they're not even getting enough sunlight because of the larger trees that are around them. And I'm also building a 18-hole disc golf course on this land, so I do have to clear out a lot of small trees and then I use them to build the projects that I'm working on. If you've never heard of disc golf, it's one of the fastest growing sports in the world right now. It's free to play, it's extremely fun. You could YouTube it and just check out what it is. And if you want to check out any discs or t-shirts that I sell, you could go to neighborhooddiscgolf.com and that link is in the description below. So I found this long piece of lumber on the land and it was perfect to put on top of the 4 posts in the front, and I'm going to use it as the main board to then run smaller trees to the back so that I can lay the metal roofing on top. And here I'm cutting the ends of these small trees flat so that they will lay on top of that board nicely and I can screw them right in. And this is where the project really started to feel like it was coming together. I was getting close to the finish line, putting these trees on the top from the main board to the back, and then going to put the metal roofing on next. And this was probably the most labor-intensive part of this project, was cutting those trees down, cutting flat ends on them, and then climbing up the ladder and putting them up top. So thankfully there was a lot of metal roofing left behind on this land, and I was able to use that to build a firewood cover that I have another video of, and then I used it for this project, and I hopefully have enough for my outdoor kitchen that will be coming soon, so stay tuned for that video. Screwing down this roofing into the trees was a little bit harder because I was using drywall screws, but I was able to get the job done and it wasn't too much trouble. So here I'm taking more trees and fitting them into the sides for more support, bracing it in. And this is hopefully going to give the roof enough support to withstand maybe 6 to 10 inches of snow. I'll probably just have to use a roof rake if there's any storms and keep up on taking the snow off the roof. If worse comes to worse, I'll add a couple beams going horizontally and then maybe one coming down into the ground in the middle. And then it would hopefully be able to withstand bigger snowstorms. And now I'm putting the slats on the front face, and I'm doing it a little bit cleaner, making sure that all the slats are the same length, where the sides and the back, I kind of just cookie cutter, put pieces wherever. The slats don't always fill in the gaps perfectly, and you'll see some cracks. I'm going to eventually go over that with more slats, probably around the time that I decide to paint it. I had to cut a pallet in half to fit on top so that I could finish the front face. I took a break from the front to finish all the slats on the sides, and it worked out really nicely that these trees that are used as supports also were perfectly sized to fit the rest of the slats going along the top. I did have to add a little bit of pallet wood on a few of the trees just to fill in the gap. I did use a 2x4 to frame in the door, put a piece on the bottom, and then I put 2 on the sides to just fill in the gap to make the door fit in place. I found these really nice heavy-duty metal hinges here on the land, so I put them to good use and I'm going to use them for the door for this project. The door ended up fitting really nicely, not much of a crack on the side, but a little bit of one on the bottom between the 2x4 and the door, so I might put a slat there just to fill in that crack at the bottom. So this was the last part of the project, putting slats on the door and the top of the face, and unfortunately I ran out of gas for the nail gun, and it's about a 20-minute drive to get more. So I decided to finish this the old-fashioned way with a hammer and nail. So this shed has already been through some rainstorms, and it actually holds up to rain perfectly fine. Doesn't get wet in there at all. And those cracks you see on the front and on the sides, I'm going to be filling that in slowly with more slats, and then I'm going to eventually paint this and do some more work on it and put out some more videos on what I end up doing with this. So here's the finished product. It took about 30 to 40 pallets to build, probably around 35 give or take. And it was almost completely free to build. Most of everything was already here on the land. If you're new to my channel, check out the first week in the barn video. That shows the land and explains what I plan on doing here. And here's the treehouse. I did the entire interior in pallet wood and added a wood burning stove so that I could stay there in the winter. Both of those videos are linked in the description below. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe and hit that notification bell, because now that the weather's getting nicer, I'm going to be putting out a lot more videos and building a lot more stuff here on the land. So stay tuned and hope to see you soon.